Now we come to the Texas legislative session. It ended just days ago with fireworks. House Democrats walking out to kill a controversial voting rights bill. The lieutenant governor claiming the House was mismanaged, and Governor Abbott threatening to veto legislative salaries. The man in charge of the House is Speaker Phelan. He's a Republican from Beaumont. Mr. Speaker, thank you for being with us this morning. We do appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to begin with something that came actually out of the Senate. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said of the demise of Senate Bill 7 that the clock ran out on the House because it was managed poorly. I want to know if you've spoken to the Lieutenant Governor since he said that.
No, we have not spoken recently, and I just disagree with the Lieutenant Governor. I respect him. I respect the job he has to do. There are two different chambers. The Senate and the House are entirely different, and that's how those who wrote our Constitution wanted them to be different, and we operate differently. We have different rules. So I absolutely disagree with his characterization of that. And the Senate was responsible for drafting. They were responsible for drafting the conference report. So when they finally were done with it, it was 8 a.m. It had many errors in it. I think the Elections Committee found 10 to 12 points of order in it, which is what kills the bill. We had to completely redraft it. We were not able to file SB 7 for consideration in the House until 4:41 p.m. on Saturday, which by our rules means we cannot take it up until 4:41 p.m. on Sunday, the last day available. So it was not the House's fault. To say the clock ran out, no, the clock management was not a problem in that.
You just mentioned errors in the bill. We've heard some Republicans say that it was a typo. One of the main things that had Democrats very upset about this bill was a change in the Sunday early voting hours. Some Republicans are saying it should have said 11 a.m., but it said 1 p.m. Are you aware of that? Was that an error? Is that the only typo you know of? And did a typo lead to this walkout?
There's other little typos in there. I think the word equal was misspelled a couple of times as well. I mean, small typos like that, and that can happen. But two members of the conference committee, including the sponsor of the bill and chair of elections, both have said in the last 24 hours that it was their understanding that the Sunday voting was supposed to be 11 a.m. But when the bill came back, it was 1 p.m. So here, I guess the silver lining in this whole issue is we're coming back to discuss this sooner rather than later. And if there's typos like this or errors or omissions, then we will have plenty of time to address them in a very deliberative, respectful manner.
Do you worry that there's going to be a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths between Republicans and Democrats over the walkout that sort of ended the session? And do you have concern that there won't be any room for bipartisanship because of that when we enter a special session?
We've moved past these issues rather quickly. I don't see a lingering angst there. I mean, are some members on this side upset, that side upset, of course, but that's just what's happening when you go through contentious legislative sessions, which are always contentious. But my concern, what happened on Sunday, wasn't just that we lost election integrity, but there were some healthcare reform bills, some criminal justice reform bills, a great mental health bill, also on the calendar that did not pass. And unfortunately, I don't think that will be on the special session. So we lost those opportunities.
One of the things that I think you have said you're a little concerned about is that Governor Abbott has threatened to veto funding to the legislature because of this walkout, which of course would impact the salaries of your staff members who had nothing to do with the walkout. Have you discussed this with him? What are your thoughts on this?
Not since his announcement have we discussed this, and I understand his frustration, and I share his frustration that we didn't finish the calendar. Vetoing Article 10, I get the message he's sending. It's just the unintended consequences could be that our staff are impacted. The drafting attorneys who actually draft the bills that we vote on, the support staff who actually run the building, and my staff, I don't want them to work for free. We may have time if he brings this up in August. We could pass a supplemental bill to reinstate Article 10, as well as vote on the integrity election bill and bill reform bill all before September 1st. I think that's probably his plan. And so there may not be an impact to staff, which would be, something that would make me feel a lot better.
So then you're saying potentially there would be a special session in August
ahead of the special session to address redistricting? Because that won't be ready in August, correct?
I could foresee two different special sessions. Absolutely. Again, that's not my call. It's solely on the governor's. That's his decision. I'm not going to get involved in his decision.
So you're looking at much more time in Austin coming up very soon, it sounds like.
Don't tell my wife and kids that, but it looks like I might be heading back to Austin sooner rather than later.
All right. Well, enjoy the time away while you can. Mr. Speaker, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me. Anytime. Thank you.